Okay, we're going to look at another way to be able to solve systems of equations, and that's with matrices. Matrices have these little things that are the square brackets, just as you see here. So matrices have to have square brackets, and what you put in your first matrix is just the numbers you have in front of your variables. Here's a 1, there's a 3, here's a 1, there's a 2. That's what goes in front or in your first matrices. This one, that 3, then this one, and then that 2. What goes in your second matrix is your variables. And here our variables are just an x and a y, so they go in that order, but from top to bottom, x and y. And then what goes on the other side is just your constants, the 3 and the 7. This first matrix we're going to call matrix A. The last and third matrix is our matrix B. So just be aware of that. By the way, this whole thing that I have right here is referred to as your matrix equation. Now to solve a matrix equation, we need to go A inverse B on our calculator. So we'll go ahead and we'll pull up our graphing calculator and we'll type in our A inverse B. So first of all, we'll have to type in second inverse here, arrow over to edit, hit enter. This happens to be a 2 by 2, so I'm going to just hit enter, enter, and now I'll type in the numbers of 1, 3, 1, 2. Now I need to quit and get out of this, and now I need to type in my other matrix. So I'm going to go second, arrow over to edit, arrow down. That happens to be a 1 by 2 already. Now I need to type in my matrix. That is the 3 on top, 7 on the bottom. So I'll go 3 here, 7 here. Now I'm going to get out of this. And now I'll have to go that A inverse B. So I'll go back here and get A. I need to be underneath names. Hit enter. Hit my inverse button. Then I need to go back to matrix and arrow down. Oops. Sorry. We'll try that again. So go matrix, A, inverse, matrix, arrow down to B, hit enter. So we end up getting this right here, which these numbers refer to your variables. So our first variable here was x, so that means that's got to correspond to the 15. Our second variable was y, corresponds to the -4. So these two lines cross at one point of the ordered pair 15, -4. Now, doing two equations with two variables, it's not too hard to do substitution or elimination. It gets to be more of a challenge when you're dealing with three equations, three variables. We can still use matrices quite easily here. So the numbers in front we'll go ahead and write down in front of my A in the top line, in front of the B, in front of the C. Now next line, in front of the A, in front of the B, there's no B's, so there's really a 0 there. In front of the C's, in front of the A's, in front of the B's, in front of the C's. Notice all the equations are A's, B's, and C's, so that's what I put over here. And then on the right-hand side, I put my what's on the other side of the equal sign of the 1, the 7, the -5. The first equation is my coefficient matrix, which is matrix A. My constant matrix is over here. I still need to type in A inverse B. So I'll go back to my calculator, and I'll go ahead and go back to matrix, over to edit. Has to be 3 by 3, so I'll go 3, 3. Now I'll type this in, 2, 3, -5, 7, 0, 1, or 3, 3, -6, 1, double check it to make sure you didn't make any mistakes. Now we'll go ahead and we'll go back and we'll enter in B's. So we'll go back to second matrix, over to B, down to edit, which is a 3 by 1. So I'll go 3, 1. It's a 1, 7, -5. Then I need to go A inverse B. However, that was the last thing I did, so I could just arrow up, select that, hit enter. There it is. Oh, those are some ugly looking numbers. But if I hit math, enter, enter, it turned it into fractions. So then I can go ahead and write these down. So here's my A, there's my B, there's my C. So once again, if you're not dealing with X, Y, they're alphabetical. So I'm going to go A, come on, my A value, my B value, my C value. This is referred to as an ordered triple. Make sure you put it in alphabetical with the parentheses. Now this problem could be done with substitution or elimination, but it would be a real pain with these fractional answers. We can do the same thing here. We'll write our matrix equation. We'll go A inverse B. Two by 2, 6, -9, 8, -12. Type in our constant matrix. Arrow down to B after you go to edit. It's a 2 by 1. And it's a -18. And a 24. Once again, we could just go ahead, arrow up, get this, or you could type it in by hand. Oh! What the heck does this mean? Well, whenever you get this type of an error, that means one of two things. Either the first equation and the second equation are multiples of each other, meaning they'd be the exact same line, or they're going to be parallel lines. So as we look here, so in other words, when you get that error, it doesn't work to use matrices. If I take this first one and divide everything by 3, take the second one right here, divide everything by 4, the left sides are multiples of each other, but not the right side. So they're not the exact same line, so therefore they're not the same thing all the way across, so they're not the exact same line. So that means they have to be parallel to each other. So when you get that, you might have to do a little bit of work on your own. But in general, if you get this error, one equation and the other equation are the exact same, or they're very similar but slightly different, like on the right hand side 6 and -6, so then they'd be parallel and have no solution.